afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Star Wars Headlines here at Laughing Place. I'm Rebecca Mosley, the co-founder of Laughing Place, and with me is our editorial director for Star Wars content, Mike Celestino. Hey, Mike, how's it been going?
Going pretty good. Had a good weekend at Midsummer Screen here in Southern California, and getting back into the Star Wars swing of things. Got some big news to talk about this week.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I guess we can just jump right into everything, or you want to show off anything?
Oh, yeah. Just real quick, I want to show off a gift I received from our friends over at the Heroes of the Halcyon podcast. They do a podcast all about the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, and they got to go to San Diego Comic-Con a couple weekends ago. As you know, I missed out because I got sick, but they were able to pick up this Bossk fig pin for me. It's my first fig pin, but I had to have it because it's Bossk, and it's 1 of 1,000, limited edition, 1 of 1,000. So not too many people have this. I'm so thankful that they were able to swing by the fig pin booth and pick that up for me. So thank you to the Heroes of the Halcyon.
That's pretty awesome. I'm glad you didn't miss out because I knew about the limited edition, and with you not being able to attend, I'm glad you had somebody had your back there.
Me too.
Let's see. This week, the big news in the world of Star Wars is Andor.
Yeah, so we got they did this thing. I think it was on Good Morning America, right? That they announced that Andor was basically getting delayed by a few weeks, but also we got a new trailer, and we found out that they will be premiering the first 3 episodes all at once on, what is it, Wednesday, September something.
It's 21st, September 21st.
And yeah, I have a lot to say about this that I'm not allowed to say yet, but I will be eventually, and we're gonna have a lot more discussions. But what did you think of the trailer?
It's very compelling. It'll be interesting. I think for me, I actually was more kind of caught up in some of the comments that happened through TCA, through the Television Critics Association panel. We did a recap here a couple of days ago with our television writer at Laughing Place, Alex. And, hearing a little bit about that. And I was wondering if you had a chance to kind of take a peek. But I just want to let people know that, as Mike mentioned, it's delayed, but we're going to get 3 episodes. And then the additional episodes will be, dropping from time to, like weekly. We're going to
one at a time after that. Did they clarify?
That was the impression. That was the impression that I got. But they said that first season, the 12 episodes, is going to cover 1 year in the life of Andor, and then they've already greenlit the 2nd season, and it says it's going to cover a year every 3 episodes, so that we're going to be jumping forward in time between each of those trios.
Okay.
So that episode 24 will lead us directly into that Rogue One.
That all makes sense to me. The thing that was surprising that came out of the TCA thing to me was they were being very cagey about whether or not K2SO, the droid, was going to be in this show. There's the tweet right there from Alex saying that Tony Gilroy, basically, I don't know, was he dodging the question? What's your interpretation? Because the weird thing for me is right after they announced this show, they did a presentation about it at D23 Expo, and the 2 people on stage were Diego Luna, the star, and Alan Tudyk, who plays K2SO. So to me, they were telling us then that K2 is going to be in the show. And then when production started, they were like, I think we've kind of found out that Alan Tudyk wasn't going to be in this first season. So in my head, it was like, okay, they're going to meet up at some point in the show. My guess was going to be, okay, at the end of season 1, Cassian and K2 will become friends. And then K2 will be in all of season 2, but now I don't know. I feel like they're either dodging the question and are trying to avoid spoilers, or they've changed their minds of K2 being in this show. I don't know. What do you think?
That was Alex's take, and he would have seen the presentation, like the comment in its context. And Alex, the impression I had from our discussion was Alex's takeaway was that if he had been a previously considered like heavy presence, that maybe that was reconsidered, and so they're kind of dialing down expectations
Okay.
of his involvement, because like you say, that initial impression would have, been like, woohoo, here he comes. But like I say, I got the impression that maybe that plan is kind of shifted in some way, and so they're trying to manage expectations on the appearance of K2SO within this series.
Well, it definitely would be shocking if this entire series, all 24 episodes, goes by and we don't see K2 at all, because they said it leads right into Rogue One. At the beginning of Rogue One, it seems like they know each other pretty well at that point. So
Well,
I hope that he's at least in part of season 2.
right. And as the show creator explained, it would be hard for Andor to be moving around if he had this Imperial droid and not notice. However, he did hint that we will see an appearance. So it wasn't like they totally, walked away from it. But I got the impression from some of the things that Alex shared that they were kind of dialing down the expectation of the amount of K2SO we'd be seeing. There was also some questions regarding how it connects to the Marvel comic, and I got the impression from the dialogue with Alex that this wasn't necessarily utilized as a inspiration or as a resource within the creation. That there's a kind of a bit of a split there. So yeah, he says it doesn't violate the grand canon, but you know how we've seen some things kind of tweaked within storylines. So once again, that video is here on Laughing Place, the TCA Disney Plus discussion. So be sure to check that out for Alex's insights from those discussions. The other thing that came out of that was interesting is that this series isn't going to be hasn't utilized the volume.
Right. That surprised me, because I can say that I had assumed that they at least partially used the volume in this show. And apparently I was wrong, because Tony Gilroy came out and said, no, we needed actual physical sets, which is surprising to me. I mean, I'm not disappointed by them using physical sets. I'm glad that they did, but they do have a volume in London, which is where this was shot. I thought for sure they had used it for at least for part of the show, but I guess not. He said maybe later on in season 2 they might need it, so who knows.
And if you, like me, find Diego Luna incredibly charming, he did stop by The View, and he talked about his role as Cassian, and it is a delightful interview, as I find him always delightful. So you can check out The View official Twitter for that, for a clip of that interview. I was quite pleased to stumble upon that a couple of days ago as well. Let's see. So they also shared a couple of new images. Have we really pulled? I don't really feel like we pulled anything new per se out of these images, other than just, it's action packed. The character designs are really beautiful. Yeah, I guess that's about it that I gathered from it. So,
it's a nice hallway. There's a nice tree in that hallway. There's not really much you can glean from these 2 images that came out through the TCA.
But they're continuing to tease us and get us excited about the series debuting September 21st. Continuing in the realm of Star Wars, Lightsaber Academy. This is a Star Wars kids series. It's over on their YouTube channel. Currently, it's 4 episodes. So yeah, just
I clicked around through those. They seem very simple and like sort of akin to what you would see at the Lightsaber Training Academy at Disney parks.
And the neat thing to me, Mike, was that it helps to showcase this charity organization, the Saber Guild. And you can learn more about their organization, saberguild.org. And they actually have various, their chapters are called temples, right? Because you're dealing with the kind of a Jedi construct. So they have various temples throughout the nation. The one in the Florida area, I think it's the South Florida one, is Dagobah. The one that's in the Central Florida area is Takodana. It seems like they try to kind of reflect maybe the environ that the temple is within the name, because I think of, it's funny to me that South Florida, kind of that Everglades notion. You've got temple, the Dagobah
Right.
icon there. So yeah, so you can learn more about that organization, the charity work they do, by visiting saberguild.org. And then continuing within Star Wars television and videos, we've got the Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation on its way.
Yeah, so this comes out tomorrow on Disney Plus, I'm pretty sure. And I got to see a review copy a week or so ago, and I wrote a review that you can read over there on laughingplace.com. I thought it was on par with the other Lego animated specials in this series, because we got one for Life Day and then we got one for Halloween, kind of the Terrifying Tales. But now this is the Lego Summer Vacation. The overarching story is set on the Halcyon Star Cruiser from Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, but then it is again it's broken up into 3 kind of flashback stories. There's a trio of Force ghosts, Force spirits that visit Finn during his vacation on the Halcyon, and they each tell him a story from their past about a time when they were sort of on a summer vacation, and he kind of learns how to enjoy himself through those stories. I think one is Obi-Wan, one is Kylo Ren, and then one is Darth Vader, I think, / Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. It's just fun and funny. It doesn't really take itself too seriously, and it's not really part of the Star Wars canon, so they can have a lot more fun with the characters and locations and stuff like that.
For example, Weird Al Yankovic somehow
Yeah.
is in the midst of all this frivolity. So I'm excited for this. It is on my watch list for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm eager to check it out. Glad that you didn't scare me off.
I really want a Weird Al Lego minifigure, so hopefully this will lead to him being released. I don't know. I was looking, so they just revealed the Lego advent calendar for this year, and one of the figures is Darth Vader in that like beach outfit.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you get in the advent calendar, but I was really hoping for a Weird Al. I guess it would take more licensing to do that. Probably you have to pay for his likeness or name or something, but it would be cool if they released him.
Yeah, give it time. It'll happen. I have no doubt we'll see it. Let's see. This week, a trio of comic book reviews has arrived on Laughing Place, and we'll start off with Obi-Wan. Mike.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan, the way this Obi-Wan Kenobi comic miniseries is working, it starts near the end of his life, where he's still living in his little hut on Tatooine before he meets up with Luke and they go on the adventure that we see in the original Star Wars film. But then he flashes back. So he's kind of waiting for this sandstorm to pass on Tatooine, but he keeps having these flashbacks to earlier in his life. And this issue number 3 is about the time he spent as a general in the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars, and one particular battle that takes place where they're trying to lay siege to this bridge. It's actually a pretty dark story, and a lot of clones die, and he reflects on like what a Jedi's role in war is, which I actually thought was really compelling. And the author, the writer, Christopher Cantwell, did a really good job of getting across like the darker side of war in the Star Wars galaxy. So recommend checking that out. That Obi-Wan miniseries is going to be a great thing to buy when it comes out in the collected trade paperback edition. Obviously, I'm getting the individual issues as they come out, but they will all be collected eventually.
I feel like if they were doing a trailer for this comic, you'd have Mike Celestino's words on the screen. It would say, most sobering examination of war reality. And then, Mike Celestino Laughing Place. Or maybe
I don't know.
You also said unusually introspective installment.
Yeah. I don't know if those quotes make it sound fun.
But when you think of, for me it did. It was like that's why I pulled them out of your piece here, because for me it was like this makes me want to pick up this comic, because these are not elements that I'm familiar with. With, like you say, in Star Wars, it's unusually real. There's kind of a bit of a like one step removed, narrative. And so, yeah, I actually now have this on my list for my when it hits my Marvel Unlimited. I hope it's Marvel, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when it hits
what I like about this Obi-Wan series so far is that each book, each chapter, each individual comic has been very different from the other one. So they're all about a different point in Obi-Wan's life, and they are all very different, like tonally and um stakes wise. Like they're all
Mhm.
over the place. But I like that about it, that he's lived this life of so many different adventures. And that's really what this is all about.
Yeah, so please stop by your local comic shop and look for this Star Wars Obi-Wan series, because it's a limited series, right, Mike?
Yeah, I think it's 5 issues
Yeah.
overall, 5 or 6.
So you're not looking at a large investment in a storyline, but each one has so far kept Mike's attention and been an interesting trip into the character of Obi-Wan. Next up, I know how much Mike loves Dr. Aphra. How did number 22 hit you?
Boy, I didn't like this arc when it first started, but it's really, really grown on me. And this issue in particular, I thought was really interesting because it mostly takes place within Dr. Aphra's mind, because she's kind of been possessed by this ancient artificial intelligence called the Spark Eternal. And so this AI is living in her brain and making her revisit all these kind of very dark moments from her past that you just see right there when she kind of murdered a competitor, because she's like a rogue archaeologist. She's like a rogue archaeologist like Indiana Jones kind of, but a little bit closer to the dark side than India ever was. And this So you can see that on that bottom panel there's like a dark version of her walking her through all these memories of what she's done in the past, and making her reflect on her own life.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really liked this issue. Again, very creative on the part of the writer Alyssa Wong. And I really like this idea of this ancient AI that is kind of sort of replicating what the dark side of the Force would be able to do. It's that idea didn't click with me in the beginning, but it has really grown on me.
Of course, because it's the dark side, and we know there's a secret dark
Yeah.
side lurking in you, as we discovered watching your various your antiquities series.
Right. Yes,
Let's
that's true.
see. Oh, continuing with the notion that Mike has a bit of a darker side, let's see. Who has graced the cover of the Halcyon Legacy?
I always like when I walk into my local comic shop called House of Secrets in Burbank. Great place. Definitely check it out if you live in the LA area. And I see Bossk right there featured on the comic shop rack. And this is the final issue of Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Halcyon Legacy, another mini series that's been going from Marvel. And this is the tie-in, of course, to the Galactic Star Cruiser immersive experience at Walt Disney World. This is the last issue. It wraps up the overarching story, which is about the Halcyon being boarded by these pirates, led by a character named Crimson Jack, who is a carryover from the Legends comic book series, the old Marvel Star Wars comic book series. But then the flashback is about this guy being pursued by bounty hunters on the Halcyon, including Bossk, but also Forlom, Zuckuss, and other characters from the comics that this writer, Ethan Sachs, has written. There's a character from the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge comic book, and there's a couple characters from the Star Wars Bounty Hunters comic book. So you can see how he kind of wanted to tie it into his other comics that he had written. It's a lot of fun. I think this comic, it's 5 issues long. It's another one that it's going to be a good one to pick up when they have the collected trade paperback edition. And also it's going to be something good for families to read together, but either before or after they take a trip on the Galactic Star Cruiser, because you're going to see a lot of locations from the ship. If you visit it in real life, you're going to meet characters that you encounter on the ship, like Captain Kevin is a major character in this story. The cruise director, Linka Mock, pops up. The droid that you can interact with in your room, D309, is heavily featured in this comic. And yeah, it is targeted at kind of younger audiences a little bit. And the writing's around, I would say, age 10 to 12 would be the best target audience for this comic. But it's kind of intended, I think, for the whole family to enjoy if they are anticipating a trip on Galactic Star Cruiser, or if they have recently wrapped up a trip and want to continue reading about the Halcyon. I think that's a good way to do it.
And if a Halcyon vacation is something that you've thought of for your young Padawan or, to enjoy, then sometimes people like to have more creative ways of letting them know. And maybe, these comics arrival could give you a way to let them know of your impending vacation. So just a little thought there. I've seen parents try and find creative ways to let their kids know about their exciting Star Wars vacations. Let's see. Within the High Republic show debuted some new variant covers for Marvel Star Wars: The High Republic.
Yeah, so the High Republic is kind of on a hiatus right now because Phase 1 ended in the spring and Phase 2 is going to start in the fall. So we're kind of between releases right now, but they are priming us for that, teasing us with new covers and stuff. I think we got a new cover for the audio drama that's coming out. Is that one of the things?
No, hang on. I'll get to it. I think I'm going to click on everything else first.
Okay.
Yep. See?
Oh, this is, yeah. Okay. No, is that not one of the things we got? Maybe it wasn't.
Here, Mike, you talk about, I think what we have here is character art for the Chancellor's son.
Okay.
I see.
Maybe I was thinking of Comic-Con when they revealed that.
Perhaps, because these are some of the images. These are the images from this particular announcement. Okay. It was a various comic concept art for characters like Salandra Show, Axel Greylark. We also got some variant covers for the upcoming Marvel High Republic series. So,
yeah, so this would be Phase 2 of the Marvel High Republic comic book.
Yeah. And so that's what was revealed in the Star Wars High Republic show. If you haven't checked that out, that is a series on YouTube that regularly features the up and coming items from that High Republic series. And like Mike mentioned, Phase 2 is just around the corner. So you can be learning more about that over on the Star Wars YouTube channel. Let's see, Mike. Next up, we've got merchandise. We've got an enormous figure. It is a Grand Moff Tarkin. It is a 12-inch.
Okay.
It is a 12-inch fig.
So it's kind of in the style of the old Kenner Star Wars figures, but it's a foot tall. Yeah, and it's interesting because they never made Tarkin in the original line of Star Wars action figure. So it's not like a replica of any old Star Wars figure, but it is an $80 new sculpt, I think, look like the old Star Wars Kenner figures, and it's $80. Yeah, that's a lot.
and when you use the code LPFan, you will receive a discount at checkout. We appreciate the affiliate relationship that we have with Entertainment Earth, giving those who purchase through Laughing Place a 10% discount, and then we receive a small affiliate fee. So no additional cost to you, in fact, a little bit of savings, and we get a little bit of funds to support the efforts here at Laughing Place. Hey, also recently we were talking to y'all about the Lego Star Wars sets that are on their way, and they have begun to appear over on Shop Disney. The legend, let me try this again. The Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order droid, the BD unit, BD1, he is over at Shop Disney. Also the Andor Lego set, the couple of the Obi-Wan sets have been appearing over at Shop Disney. So you can find more information about that in this article about 10 Lego sets from the world of Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel that are over on Shop Disney. If you aren't looking for Legos, but looking for something of a more high-end nature, I don't know if you've taken a peek at these yet, Mike. We talked about these a little bit over on Barely Necessities. In fact, we talked about them kind of at length, so we'll just touch on them over here.
Okay.
But these are some new figures from Royal, and I'm going to say Selangor because I have not heard the word myself, so I'm going to go with Selangor. And these are high-end busts. They are beautiful sculpts, and in some cases, either a pewter or a 24 karat gold gild on them. These are high-end collectible pieces. They're available over at Shop Disney. You're looking at, for this Darth Vader in 24 karat, you're looking at a limited edition of 300, and it is an $820 item. The Grogu, I'm sorry, this is Yoda. Yoda on Dagobah. He's about 5.5 inches tall. He's a limited edition of $999, and this is in the price range of $400. So, like I say, these are higher end collectibles in this gold coat, or not coat, gilding, or the pewter finish. So be sure to check those out as well. And more my speed, I don't know about you, Mike, but our Star Wars mugs. And once again, we're back at Entertainment Earth. They have put up a number of Star Wars designs, some from Visions. They've also got a number of kind of blueprint designs, whether you're more rebellion oriented or Imperial Empire sketches. So you can have those available with your morning coffee. We've got a couple of kind of simple black and white logos for either the, Imperial or perhaps not Imperial side of things. And then some full color art as well. They have a few featuring comic book panels, or this is my favorite, Mike, a full color photo of Chewie with a meme like walking out of the salon, like text around it. So they got a few of these kind of meme style elements. Let's see. Benjamin Williams is asking a question that I'm going to throw to you, Mike. Do you think Darth Vader will be seen in Star Wars Andor? Or should I answer? I don't know.
I will say that I don't know, and I think it's also certainly possible because he's definitely around. There are, as they've said, there are heavily featured scenes and characters that are on the Imperial side.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely a possibility.
I
don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all in that the character is beloved. We've seen the way that Hayden Christensen has embraced the revisiting the role, and how the fan base has embraced him coming back to the role. So yeah, it would certainly be fun to have that. However, on the flip side of it, I will say that the way that character was kind of in some ways unveiled originally within canon in A New Hope, and then that similar scene was revisited at the conclusion of Rogue One.
Right.
I feel like you're very hard pressed to kind of reach that same iconic nature. And that's how I felt watching Obi-Wan, was that I didn't feel like, he was that same kind of iconic Vader in those. So there's like a little bit of hesitation for me as to whether or not he would be there. And then Benjamin Williams is also hoping that we'll see Tarkin. And we'll have to wait and see, because
could be.
Once again, these are characters that are so popular within canon. My understanding of the timeline is this would work within the timeline, so I'm not going to say it can't happen.
Yeah, we can say that it starts 5 years before Rogue One, so both those characters would be around in that period. I don't know. I'd be okay either way if they do show up or if they don't. I don't need to see them more than we've already seen them, but it would be interesting.
And he's been so heavily rumored in circulation around the Ahsoka series. It's like, I don't know how much you want to kind of overexpose, maybe is the word, but I don't know. Star Wars doesn't ever seem to be too concerned about that. Let's see, Mike, you recently took a walking tour of Marketplace. This is something new we were trying over at Laughing Place. Just letting you take us on a little stroll through the park. What'd you think?
Yeah, Dubia had actually suggested this to me, and I did it on Friday last week. I shot it and I put it up this Monday, just kind of walking through I picked one area of Galaxy's Edge, the marketplace, and walked through and did kind of like a breakdown of all the merchandise that's available, all the Easter eggs I could point out, and just did a tour of each shop. And I think we might do this again. I think the next thing I would want to do is Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, because that's got a lot to talk about in terms of Easter eggs and stuff. And then it's just kind of to give people a general idea of what merch is available right now. But yeah, it was fun to do it. Certainly a lot to talk about, even in that area, the marketplace. So
as you were wandering,
yeah.
did the focus of the experience cause you to notice new things? Was there something that maybe because you were had a different goal in mind that you noticed or saw in a different way, or I know sometimes that happens, not always. So
Yeah.
if you were just reminded of things that you love, that's cool too. You can share those. But
I will say I try to go through there every time I'm at the park. So so if something is new, it jumps out at me, or if I notice something new, it really jumps out at me. This was mostly stuff that I had already noticed before, but just wanted to kind of get down in this overview, and there were occasionally moments where I didn't remember the name of something, or because there's pretty obscure characters within the story of Galaxy's Edge. I didn't remember the name of the Wookiee that runs the wood carving shop out there, but when I did that, I looked it up later and I put it in little subtitles, so the information is there in the video.
And yes, I am excited for Bad Batch season 2.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting too. We still don't have a date for that. Very curious to know when they're going to be releasing that, because if Andor is 12 episodes and they do release it one at a time after the 3-episode premiere, it could run till like late November, I think. So I'm very curious to see if they're going to overlap the Andor season 1 and Bad Batch season 2, if they'll leave it separate or what. I'm
we could have quite a bit of Star Wars on our television with the way the publication, the release schedule is. Let's see, Mike, wrapping it up here with Star Wars headlines. We've got your latest Who's the Bossk pod.
Yeah, so I've been doing the movies in the Disney era, which I hadn't talked about in any great length on Who's the Bossk yet. So this last week we did Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and my friend Christian and I just kind of went in depth about what we like. We mostly both really like this movie, so there wasn't too much of a critique, but we did talk about our memories of seeing it the first time and then what we think of it now, and the cast and directors and stuff. So you can hear that on the Who's the Bossk Star Wars podcast from Laughing Place.
Fantastic. So let's see, that concludes this week's Star Wars headlines. I will include links below so that if when you want to learn more about the various stories that we've discussed here, you'll be able to easily find them over at Laughing Place. If you want to stay on top of all types of Disney news and information, we report on all aspects of the Disney companies: Star Wars, Marvel, the Disney parks, Hulu. Later today, we will be back on this YouTube channel with a discussion of the TCA presentations by Hulu. So you'll be learning more about what kind of Hulu content is ahead that was discussed at TCA. If you want to stay on top of Mike's adventures and his Star Wars updates, follow him over at Who's the Bossk Pod. That's where you'll be sure to get the Star Wars related content that appears on Laughing Place. We do include that on our own Twitter, but Mike has that unique focus. So thanks very much for joining us this week, and we will see you next time here at Star Wars Headlines. Bye.